right, today we are going to be talking about some books. I read quite a bit in general, everything from articles to books to things online. I love reading. And a lot of you have been asking me to just make more things talking about books. So on Instagram, I actually added a whole highlight where I talk about articles and books that I'm really enjoying. So if you want to get like a sneak peek into what I'm reading and my thoughts on that, you can follow me on Instagram. Today, I am going to be sharing 3 books that I have discovered pretty recently, and I think all of these are perfect for summer. And if I'm being honest, I think they're summer essentials. I feel like you have to read these this summer because they are all just so good. Starting off with The Husband's Secret. This is by the same author that wrote Big Little Lies, and this was also a New York Times bestseller. I got this on a whim at the airport because I was actually looking to start my summer reading early. I just really felt like diving into a story that revolved around some kind of mystery that wasn't too intense. I just wanted something juicy. And when I'm reading fiction, I love stories that take place in suburban atmospheres and then something happens and you get to see into the lives of the people living in these seemingly perfect worlds. Like Big Little Lies, there are multiple storylines, so you're introduced to different characters, but the core of the story really revolves around a couple. There's a woman named Cecilia who is kind of like the queen of this suburban world, and she is married to Jean-Paul. So one day Cecilia is up in the attic and she is looking for something to give her daughter, and she finds this letter, and it is addressed to her and it's in her husband's handwriting, and it says that it's not to be opened unless he has died. So of course Cecilia is like, oh my God, what is this? Should I open it? Should I just let it be? And she is really distraught about this. I really like this aspect of the story because it makes you think about what you would do in that situation and how you would handle things. So the discovery of this letter really is the catalyst for everything. Everything changes after this letter. I think what the back of this book says in summary, like imagine what it would be like if the person that you were married to had this letter that contained their deepest, darkest secret. What I love is how there are these different storylines, and at first you're just kind of confused, like, where is this going? Why am I being introduced to this seemingly random person? I think what this author does really well is creating those different storylines, and they seem really random, and then they all come together and connect, and you're just like, oh my God, this is so good. I think it also really taps into the complexities of human emotions and relationships. And there are lots of things that the author doesn't explicitly say, but she conveys these nuances and these really complex ideas through the actions of the characters, and then kind of just lets the reader decide for themselves what's going on there. This is definitely something that you should read if you like different character storylines, if you like mystery, if you like suburban stories, and if you also really love the exploration of human emotions and relationships. The next book is actually by the same author, and I had actually seen What Alice Forgot at the airport when I bought The Husband's Secret, and I was trying to decide between the two of them. And I told myself, just get one first, see if you like it, and then go get the other one if you're into it. And I was very into The Husband's Secret. This book is different. It doesn't have the different character storylines, and the plot is entirely different. So this is about a woman named Alice, and she is 29 years old. She's pregnant with her first child. She's married, and then One day she wakes up on the floor of a gym after a spin class, and she is 39 years old. She's in the middle of getting a divorce and she has no memory of the last decade. You're kind of like, okay, this sounds like a super cheesy story. Hitting your head and then forgetting 10 years of your life, that is definitely an entry point for sure, but I think it's really interesting. She's around people that she recognizes, but she wasn't close with at 29 years old, and she's confused about, you know, her relationships and how they have changed, and she's shocked when she first comes to and realizes that she is not pregnant anymore, and she doesn't believe it, that it is not 1998 anymore, but it is 2008. And I think that decade gap is also really interesting within itself, because it's going from, you know, this really early phase of the internet to then people having social media, and she has no memory of anything in between. So I think that just from a cultural standpoint is really fascinating. The story definitely has different characters and you get the points of views of these characters, but it's done in a different way. So instead of the husband's secret where every chapter would kind of go back to a different character, this is just kind of woven throughout the story. And this is spanning over the course of 10 years, and it really shows in such stark contrast how much things change. I think that is something that we can all relate to, even if we just look, you know, a few years into our past, let alone an entire decade. And I think these changes really happen gradually over time. And a lot of times we don't even recognize that they're actually happening until it gets to like a bigger breaking point or a larger change or transition point. But if we really think about these events in our lives, we can kind of trace back that trail of breadcrumbs that got us there. Throughout the course of this story, different characters are slowly coming in. She does have little flashes of memories and things start to be revealed, but I think the author does it in such a timely way. So she just gives you just enough to satisfy you, and then also leaves you wanting more too. If I had to sum this up for a recommendation, I would say that I would recommend this if you want a book about change. Something that I really noticed in this book is the importance of meeting people where they are. And because Alice has lost her memory, the people around her really have to meet her where she is. And Alice is struggling to meet the people around her where they are. And I think that is something that is so valuable to sink into. And then I have one nonfiction book to recommend. And if you follow me on Instagram, then, well, you've seen all of these books, but you have really seen me rave about this book. This is called Like a Mother by Angela Garbes, and it is a feminist journey through the science and culture of pregnancy. This is another book that I really just discovered on a whim. I was at the Greenlight bookstore in Brooklyn, and I was just looking around for something to read, and I kept coming back to this book. And it was really interesting because it was like up on a higher shelf, so it wasn't right at my eye level, but I just kept coming back to it. And it's especially interesting because I have no interest in becoming a parent anytime soon. I think something that we do as people living in a broader culture is we kind of stay away from books that aren't really part of our experience. So, you know, parenting books or books on motherhood. If you are not a parent or about to become a parent, I think a lot of people tend to stay away from those books. And one of the things that I've always loved about reading is that it can transport me into somebody else's experience. The next interesting point is that I think when we really take a step and we enter these experiences that we think are nothing like ours, we realize that there are so many common threads. Another reason why I bought this book is because I've been talking about with friends and people that I know, and also just thinking about this personally, you know, what it means to be a parent, what it means to be a mother, and just kind of observing over the years the harshness and the very particular kind of scrutiny that comes with being pregnant. This is definitely a very different take on what it means to be pregnant. And I love the way that the author explores the complexities of what the human body goes through during pregnancy. She also talks about how little we actually know about pregnancy and how so many of our actions are based on superstition and just things that have been passed down, and the judgments that people get for doing certain things, and how you're even judged a lot of times by your own doctor. I think that may come as a shock to a lot of people that we don't actually know a lot about pregnancy. But when you just look at how so many people don't even know the proper language for reproductive organs in a body, I mean, that is just the surface level right there. I think this book will definitely make a lot of people uncomfortable because the author is talking about things that we have, you know, typically been told are not good to do during pregnancy. And I think in the parental camp in general, there is so much judgment. And especially for people who are pregnant, you know, you're expected to look a certain way during pregnancy, after pregnancy. No matter what you do, you're judged. And if you do this, you're good. And if you do that, you're bad. And especially with social media now, I think that judgment is much more apparent. And a lot of the advice that people receive is also given with a heavy spoonful of judgment. What I love about this book is that it makes you uncomfortable, but at the same time, the author provides so much comfort and compassion and lets people know that the confusion and the shame and all of these feelings that they're experiencing are also things that other people are experiencing as well. And I think it's so beautifully done. I think this is a book that we need right now. Whether you plan on being a parent, you are about to be a parent, or you never want to be a parent, I think this is a book that will bring everyone to a deeper level of understanding and compassion. This is a book that is moving us forward to a less judgmental place, moving us forward to a place where people have more freedom of choice to do what they want with their bodies, and moving us forward to a deeper connection with our bodies and more deeply understanding ourselves. I just think this book is phenomenal, and I said this on Instagram, but I just have this feeling inside of me. I'm like 99% sure that this is going to be my favorite book of 2018. It is absolutely incredible, and I just think if there's one book that you are going to read this summer or just this year, read this one. Those are all of my book recommendations, and I hope that you guys enjoyed them. If you end up reading or getting any of these books, please let me know, because that is one of the things that I get most excited about. And if you have any book recommendations for me, I am always open. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my videos coming your way. And if you really like to level up, you can also hit the bell button to get notified when I post a new video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.